This is DJ Rubbish on the ones and twos. And I just come here to let y'all know it's about to get real filthy in this mother.
It looks awesome.
Definitely steal that from you all. All right. Welcome to episode 18 of ITWT Trust. We have Yasmeen with us today.
Hi.
Pumped up to have her on. She came by and actually sat in on the podcast. What was that? The Academy Awards episode.
Yes.
So when we did that one, you came in and observed because she also has a podcast that just started up. It hasn't released yet to the public, but they're in the process of recording. If you want to talk about that.
Yes, okay.
About that.
So I will talk about it because Todd is the reason that my podcast is up and running.
No, I don't know. You give me too much credit. I just helped.
Todd is an expert about all the equipment in this room, and so hella appreciation.
No problem.
You.
Trial and error. That's all it is.
Okay, so my podcast is titled Dearborn Girl. I'm co-producing it with my best friend Rima, and basically it's a place for women in Dearborn that are Arab and or Muslim to sort of reclaim our narrative and reclaim the mic and have courageous conversations. So we are currently just recording everything right now. We're hoping to drop sometime in the spring. Today's the first day of spring, so we still have lots of time.
Yeah. Yeah, so don't look at the clock just yet.
Yeah, don't look.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I when you came up here that time, I knew that, obviously we talked about, like, okay, you have to come up on my podcast sometime, so I'm glad we found a movie that worked.
Today, I was super excited when you texted me. I was like, yes, I would love to. Yeah,
it's it's a lot of fun, like, just coming in here, honestly, as you've probably seen, coming in here recording. So this week we're going to review 5 Feet Apart. We did not, so I have a rule that we don't talk about the movie at all until we get on the mic, just so that all the conversation is, like, authentic and like you're seeing like the first reactions from both of us. But she did mention that she did not like the movie. I just throw it out there now. She threw it out there to me and I was like, okay, I did like the movie, so we're gonna go through it. But just for starters, unfortunately, you're a Wolverine.
Unfortunately, that is true.
And
not
so,
unfortunately for me.
So today, I made sure to wear my gear to remind you of not only this past weekend, but just this entire basketball season. It's been a great basketball season for the Spartans. We got cheated with the seeding for the tournament, but as far as just whooping on the Wolverines this year.
Why are you limiting it to just basketball? You guys have a history of beating us.
I'm just talking. I was just talking about the most recent victory. But it's been and I think I need to take that sound bite out and use it when talking to other Wolverines because of the fact that they're quick to bring up quote unquote history of like years and years ago, and I'm like, you got to do something in the new millennium. You know what I mean? You're not doing much. If we're just looking at the past, 19 years, you're not that impressive of a school. You're not top 10 school, top 25 program. Anyway, I won't go on that because I could do a whole podcast about Michigan versus Michigan State sports. However, I just wanted to bring that up since I know you're a Wolverine.
I mean, the only reason I'm not heavily arguing with you right now is because I do like your sweatshirt and your jacket. And you always seem to have really cool, like, MSU gear on.
Thank you.
But
I'll get you some.
Also, you're talking to the least interested sports fan ever.
Okay, all right.
So, like...
That helps. Helps, yeah.
You win all arguments because, like, I don't really know.
Yeah, that's fair. No, at least you're honest. But yeah, I had to bring that up. So, did you, I know I sent over a, like, run a show for the episode. Do you have a favorite song?
Yes, I do.
For this week, what is it?
It is Workout by Chainz the Rapper.
Workout. When did that come out?
July 18th, 2018.
Oh man, yeah. Are you a big Chainz fan?
Yeah, I was super big. I'm a big Chainz fan. It was funny because he released a whole bunch of music over the summer.
Like the was this probably like 4-pack?
Yes, yes. And I remember the day because it's actually my cousin's birthday.
Okay.
And I'm very excited because he just got married.
Yeah.
And his wife found out she's pregnant, and he's releasing another album. So.
I did not see. I don't know if I saw that. So that is for sure. He's releasing another album soon.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So I'm very excited. I'm a huge Chainz fan. The song specifically, Work Out, he just kind of talks about how things in his life are kind of like matching and coming together, and I feel like that's been my current mantra and my current like season I'm in, where things are like slowly working out and I'm seeing like the greater picture. So it's just nice, and it's a nice reminder, and he's also my favorite, so.
Yeah. No, Chainz is really popular. I used to really, really not like Chainz, the person. And then, which I know is crazy to say because that's, like, everyone loves Chainz.
The most unpopular opinion I've ever heard in my life.
Probably so right now, you know. But I actually, so I changed my stance. I watched the interview with him, and it made me change, because I just didn't feel like he was really genuine. I felt like he was... I didn't feel like he was real. I thought like this whole like positive attitude. Like I'm always super skeptical of people like that for whatever reason. Maybe because I'm cynical at times, but I do like Chainz. I do like Chainz now.
Okay.
He's grown on me. Sometimes he still gets on my nerves a little bit, but he has grown on me, and I do like some of his music. I'm not a huge fan of all his music, but he definitely has some hits. Okay, for sure.
So did you think that his persona or his activism was disingenuous?
Probably a little bit of both. Like I just didn't know if it was coming from a pure place. Like him being very vocal about being a Christian and things like that. And I am as well.
Christian rapper, okay.
And I am as well. I'm a Christian as well. So I mean, just watching him and not nitpicking at everything he does, but just like that teetering that line. When I see people do that, where it's like. You're like, he's like a Christian rapper, but like, you're also not like on these other songs, like, what are you talking about here? Like, that doesn't kind of match up with the content, like, whatever. So that was kind of that, and I didn't know if he was, and also his whole, like, I'm not signed to a label, but like, I'm going to whine until I get a Grammy. So it's like, what, like, do you care? Do you not care? Like, I don't know, but I do like Chainz.
Not yet.
So I'm not on the Chainz train, but I'm now like, all right, yeah, he's cool.
Okay.
He's not the biggest fan, but he's cool.
Okay, cool.
Follow on Instagram. Double tap.
Oh, okay. So as long as you follow him on Instagram, that's how you know.
I'm at least curious. You know what I mean? Like I don't like Steph Curry, but I'm at least curious of what he's up to. So I follow Steph Curry as well.
Whoa.
Yeah. Steph Curry. Not liking Steph Curry is strictly because he's a Golden State, and I like LeBron. So they've had all those battles now. So that's why I don't like Steph Curry.
Okay.
That's really what it comes from.
I feel that. I think I definitely like LeBron more.
Okay, good.
But I also like him more for different reasons, like his activism.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And Steph's from all accounts, from what I'm hearing and what I see, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
He seems very smug on the basketball court, but from what I hear, he's a good guy.
Okay.
My song of the week is Wish You Were Gay by Billie Eilish, which is a song of her talking about how she really is into this guy and he's not interested in her, and she's basically saying, I wish the reason you didn't like me was that you were gay and not that you just weren't interested in me, because then she'd have a better excuse for why he doesn't like her. So good song. It's a really good song.
That is intense. I'm gonna have to go listen to that later.
I really like Billie Eilish. So I actually have a signed vinyl of her first album.
Wow.
So second album is coming out next month. I'm super pumped about it. Really like her. Something else I wanted to bring up real quick. I went to LA last week, and on my flight back, or actually flew to Florida after, but I had a layover in Atlanta. So get to Atlanta, and sure enough, I'm not. This was in Atlanta's airport. I was in. Sorry, I've been doing too much bouncing around.
Like traveling.
Yeah, it's been
jet setter.
Too much.
Doesn't even know where he's been.
Right. Big time, guys. No, in the LA airport on the way to Atlanta, I see 50 in the line. Yeah, in the TSA line. So he didn't. I have TSA pre-check. He didn't even have pre-check. So that really made me feel like a baller, because I'm like, wow, 50 doesn't even have.
So you just walk
he's
right
regular.
by him, like...
Yeah, he's regular. So I see 50 and I'm like, yo, that's crazy. So he has like this like platinum jacket and like obviously like a couple guys around him and stuff. So I see him. So I go through pre-check, get to my terminal, chilling, and then pre-boarding onto my flight before everyone else got on was 2 Chainz and then T.I.
No way. Why,
So I'm
why
like,
are they
what?
all there?
So they're on my flight to Atlanta, right? So, you know, I'm sitting there thinking, and I'm like, all right, 2 Chainz, T.I. just got on my flight, saw 50 earlier, and I didn't go up to any of them and start rapping. And that was the biggest regret of my life now, is that I didn't at least give them like 16 just to let them know what I have up my sleeve and then possibly get a deal. Like, that could have been a life-altering moment, and I just let it slip through my fingers.
Okay, so you have a chance to redeem yourself, you know that. Like, right in this very moment.
Oh, by dropping something right now?
Yeah, go for
I mean, you know, here's the thing, though. I don't know if they're ever going to hear this. And then also, I'd like it to be like when I rap now, I feel like my skills. Also, you know, I'm not actually a rapper. Just throwing out there. I don't want anyone to actually be listening to this and be like, "Yo, does Todd actually think he's a rapper?" But I know, I can kind of put some things together. Like, I'm hearing some of the crap that comes out now, and I'm like, okay, if that guy made it, like, come on now, I know I can put something together, like a hook and like a few like mumble some words together that makes a hit if I have a good producer, right? So I actually did have a mixtape in 8th grade.
Did you? That's
Fun
amazing.
fact. Had a mixtape and also created an account on Hot New Hip Hop and uploaded a single.
Wow.
Yeah. So I will not tell you what my rap name was. That way you can't look it up.
No,
but
please,
I don't
you
even
have
know
to
if
send
it's
it
still
to
there.
me later.
I can't. I don't know if I can send it to you. But it is really good. I was ahead of my time. Like, sometimes when I, you know, on the occasion when I go back and listen to it, you know, I give myself goosebumps. You know, so
I give myself goosebumps.
I'm just saying, I was ahead of my time. So, and I think T.I. and 2 Chainz would have agreed if they would have heard me. So maybe another time, if I do meet them and get a chance to, you know, play my song from 8th grade or spit something new, I think they'd agree with me.
I think that was the universe telling you something. I genuinely believe that. Like, the fact that you saw all 3 of them on even 2 separate occasions. No, that's weird.
It's something, yeah.
The universe is talking to you, Todd.
Yeah.
You need to listen.
Hey, right? I need to respond. Yeah, so yeah, I had to tell that story. I was pumped to see all of them. And it's just funny, like, they become so regular when you see them. You know what I mean? Like, you see them on TV and you expect, like, you see them in, obviously, like, I'm a grown man now, like, I'm not a kid, so it's not like I was expecting them to, like, have this aura off of them, like, glowing, but it is, like, cool to be like, oh, like, T.I.'s, like, shorter than me, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they don't look that eccentric. Like, T.I., if he would have had a hat on and, like, just been walking and wasn't escorted, like, I probably wouldn't have peeped him out.
Oh, wow.
You know, like, 2 Chainz was probably the most eccentric looking, like, yeah, like, the long hair, like, a hat, he had his, like, his dog with him and stuff like that. So
actually, I was standing here at the Foundation Hotel in the lobby the other day, and this big Escalade comes up. I wasn't paying attention. I was on my phone texting, and apparently Big Sean walked right by me. So I was standing with Rima. We had just finished recording, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that was Big Sean." And so I like look up and I see this guy walking with his hat, and like apparently Big Sean just like completely walked by. So you don't. So I feel like things probably happen sometimes where you just like people just walk by and you're just like, oh. Yeah, you just don't.
You don't realize it. So that would have been dope though. I like Big Sean.
Yeah, me too. I'm a big Sean fan.
I don't want to go down this whole train of thought, but Ariana Grande. Have you seen the rumors that they might be canoodling again?
Back again.
I don't know if they're back officially, but they were spotted together, and he broke up with Jhené Aiko. So
that is a dumb move on his part.
That is a dumb move. But she's beautiful and very talented. I do think I love Ariana Grande. I think that Ariana Grande is maybe more talented than Jhené Aiko. Not maybe. I think she's more talented. But Jhené Aiko is beautiful, and that's a good move. He messed that up.
I just think they looked super beautiful together. And
yeah,
they just looked very happy. But at the same time, Big Sean, if he's happier with Ariana Grande, and he brings her to the Foundation Hotel, and they decide to hang out here when I'm here,
I would lose it. If I was sitting in here recording and I like looked out and saw them getting out of his Escalade, I would lose it.
I don't even know if I would care unless she started singing. Then I would be like,
it's her. I mean, her. I would go up and be like, hey, like, no disrespect, Big Sean, but like also disrespect. Ariana, are you happy? Like, if you're not 100% happy, like, I too am or could be a rapper. Like,
wow,
you know what I mean? Like,
it's that deep.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if that's what I have to do, like, I will 100% rap if it means I get Ariana Grande. So, anyway, into 5 Feet Apart. Yes. Quick description for it: a pair of teenagers with life-threatening illnesses meet in a hospital and fall in love. Very quick description. we have Cole Sprouse in this from Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. This came out March 15th, very recent. And then he's also in Riverdale now as well. Do you watch Riverdale?
I don't watch Riverdale.
I don't either. A lot of people have been telling me I need to watch it. Maybe I will. He's also Will in this movie. And then we have Haley Lou Richardson, who is Stella in the movie. So those are our two main people. Writers and directors of this also did The Curse of La Leona, which is odd. And that's like the only other thing they've done. So I'm like, both of them coming out this year. One is a horror, one is a love film. Not that, I've said this before, like not as a writer you're confined to just one genre, but that is odd that those are the two things you've done. Movie's about 2 hours long.
Yes.
So, like I said at the beginning, you stated that you were not the biggest fan of it. Would you like to start with an opening statement as to why?
My defense.
Yeah, what's your defense?
So I guess I'll give a thesis and then we can delve into more. So the story was super sad.
Yes.
I loved the aspect of shedding light on cystic fibrosis because I didn't know a lot about cystic fibrosis.
Neither
And
did
I
I.
actually, to be completely frank, I didn't know anything about cystic fibrosis.
Yeah.
You see randomly on TV those commercials about cystic fibrosis, but it wasn't anything that I had ever looked into because I've never encountered actually anybody with cystic fibrosis, and that's definitely a privilege. So I think the movie did a really good job of shedding light on how it affects teenagers, or young people, or people in general that have it. But I think the story was overcomplicated. And I think there were certain aspects that made the movie less cohesive than it could have been, and it could have delved deeper into like really pulling out heartstrings when there were parts that were just blatantly cheesy, and parts where they just overcomplicated certain characters' storylines. So for example, do you want me to like?
Oh yeah, you can go ahead. You know what? I'll start by saying before you just completely shred the movie. I'll start by saying I was skeptical of it to start. So before I even saw it, I looked, and I saw Cole Sprouse was in it, and I'm always skeptical to see like a childhood actor who comes up and decides they're gonna play like a big boy role. And I'm like, all right, like Sweet Life of Zack and Cody has this translate. Like, are you a real actor? Is this gonna be like a cheesy, like freeform ABC Family type of movie that just made it to the big screen? Like, I don't know. I didn't know what to expect, so I was skeptical. I'll admit. Going into it though, I do love, again, why I even decided to go see it and then review it in the first place. I love romance movies.
Are you a hopeless romantic?
I don't know if I'd describe myself in that way, but I would say that I definitely love rom-coms. So I was excited to go see this. And then it reminded me, even before going to see it, and then definitely confirmed after I went to go see it, you can really compare it to like Fault in Our Stars.
Yes. Fair comparison. It's
kind of a funny story, which I actually, oddly enough, brought up for a completely different reason last podcast, where a boy finds love in, in this case it was mental health, in a psychiatric ward. So something like that where they're both sick, and kind of find love and common ground in that. And then Me Before You, this also reminded me of that. Have you seen that?
Yes, I have, and I like that movie actually.
Yeah, I watched it on the plane actually, a little while back. But yeah, so those are the movies that made me think of. The big themes in this were really, or I guess the theme that you see commonly in movies is like you want what you can't have in romance movies. So like whether it's like the parents don't approve, like you see that like it's from the wrong side of the tracks, or like Romeo and Juliet where the families are feuding, or like society doesn't approve. So maybe it's like it's during a time when race relations were like really high, like in racial conflict in like the 50s and 60s, and it's a black couple, a black man, white woman, or vice versa, whatever the case is, or it's a homosexual couple and that's frowned upon like at a certain time. So you see that dynamic as well, or like infidelity. So you want to be with someone but they're married, and you're trying to figure that out, or you're both married, or whatever the case is. And then in this case, with the character's own mortality. So hey, we don't have much time to live. And in this case, this is the first time where I've seen where they're both sick and their sicknesses could hurt each other. So like that was an odd, or I shouldn't say odd, but, and I don't want to say creative either because it's a real thing. But
it was very devastating to watch that aspect.
Yeah, it was hard.
there were so many different points in the movie where the characters were clearly hurting, but they couldn't do anything to console the other because they couldn't be within 6 feet of each other.
Right.
And then the movie was titled 5 Feet because at one point Stella, who's the main character, she just says, I don't care.
Yeah.
I just want to take off the other foot, let me have some sort of control in my life. So
Right.
that part was, they really exemplified the aspect and desire to control the surroundings, because even Will did not want to he didn't want to conform to his regimen and his health
Right.
regimen, where he said, okay, I have really no control over this, so let me just kind of throw the towel in. But then
Right.
Stella wanted to, she had OCD, she literally said she had OCD,
Right.
but she said that she wanted to control every single aspect of her life.
Right.
So that part was devastating. They did at least in my opinion, but then again, I also preface this by saying that I don't know anything about cystic fibrosis.
Right.
But they definitely made you feel very empathetic towards the characters in that way. So I left feeling like I wanted to look more into cystic fibrosis, which I actually did. I
Right.
started just like doing a whole bunch of Google searches, but
Yeah.
so I think I did a really good job of shedding light on that, because if you're not affected by that disease, then you're not gonna care. It's kind of like most things in life.
Yeah. So,
which is unfortunate and sad.
no, but I mean it's true. I think they did do a good job of, again, giving us a little background on the disease itself, and then playing that into the characters, pulling on the heartstrings. The characters are really lovable. I think that had to do with their acting, but then also, more so than their acting. Again, when you have characters, one, they're teenagers, and they're sick. So, I mean, your heart's just going to go out to them.
Yeah.
You're going to feel more attached to them. So as the movie goes on, and I'm like, wow, I'm really attached to these characters, when initially I'm looking at, Cole Sprouse come in as this bad boy character, Will, and I'm like, I'm not buying it at first. And I'm like, I don't know if last thing I saw you in was like Sweet Life, and like now you're like this cool,
but
edgy teen, and I'm like, and then he, it started coming out that he's really charismatic, which was also, I think he played that role well as I continued to watch, and then it made me remember, like, I guess like in Zach, again, I have to compare it to Zach and Cody because that's all I know him from, but like I'm thinking like, yeah, I guess they were kind of like rebels on the show a bit, in a different sense, but yeah, I mean, I think he was the charismatic teen. He was a little clunky, a little insensitive, and then kind of came around. And then she gave him hope. That was kind of the basis of their friendship. And then what turned to a relationship and love was, her giving him hope, where he kind of felt hopeless. Like he didn't have a chance at living. So like, why put so much effort into his regimen and his routine to stay alive when his time was limited anyway? So she gave him hope, which,
she did, but I didn't like the part where they implied the instantaneous like love at first sight thing with them. I think that was a little implied.
Yeah.
And I wasn't buying that at all, because one, his character at the beginning was very annoying.
Yeah.
And he was just very like Maverick-like, but not even in, he was a rebel without a cause, and his cause could have been his disease, but the way he went about it was just completely and totally cynical.
Right.
Where you could tell like she had a more optimistic take on things, because backstory, she had this blog where she would post on YouTube just like everything she was going through and how she was feeling, and even if she was doing treatment and she was live recording, she always had like a positive spin on things, and
Right.
she didn't sugarcoat it, but at the same time she was very into it. So I think the implication of the love at first sight thing was just very annoying.
Yeah.
Because clearly if she shouldn't have felt that way.
Yeah,
I don't know, but then again, I shouldn't say how people should feel.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think with romance movies, it's always going to be a little cheesy.
Yeah,
there's going to be cheesy parts, and then, again, with the love at first sight, that's always like, as soon as you see it, I mean, you see in the description, obviously, the previews don't try to hide it. You know that they're going to end up together.
Yeah,
That's the whole base of the movie. But, like, when you see them, obviously, like, the first encounter, you're like, oh, gosh, like, really? That's how you all, like, just kind of, like, met, and that's how, he sees her, and it's like, oh, my God, who is that? And follows her. But, that that's always going to come. I was looking at it, and I'm like, it got me thinking, like, I don't want to check WebMD anymore. Like, I was thinking, like, they were like, yeah, cystic fibrosis, when you have this buildup of mucus, and I'm like, man, I cough a lot. And you just start thinking, like, I was starting freaking out, like, man, like, sometimes I cough, and I'm like, no, wait, that doesn't mean I have cystic fibrosis. But like,
It doesn't.
I don't even look up WebMD now. Like when I have like one day I like slept weird and like my side hurt a little bit, like the next day, and I was like, I know if I look it up, like it's gonna say something about like my spleen or something. Like I don't know why I was like freaking out. I was like, I refuse to even Google it. I'm just gonna like, because I just don't want to be scared the whole rest of the day.
Yeah,
So,
no, I mean, sometimes WebMD does a very good job of scaring people and
Yeah,
just
I'm not doing
making their worst nightmares real.
Right, exactly.
So don't do that. So another part that I found, so when I said that the story was overcomplicated, let's talk about the character of Poe. Because, okay, so he, are we allowed to disclose spoilers?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, so full spoiler. So he was Stella's best friend, and he dies in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
So Poe and Stella have been best friends since I think they were 7 at one point, it was mentioned.
Right.
He's gay, and he dies in a very tragic way, where that whole entire scene was just so cheesy. Like I kind of couldn't feel anything because just everyone was so dramatic about it. And not in a good dramatic way. You know,
and I know what you mean. So when they first introduced Poe, first of all, it follows the, and I was actually talking about stereotypical things you see in romance films back when I was reviewing Isn't It Romantic, which is a film that was making fun of all these things, and one of them is that the main character or the female lead always has a gay best friend, and then sure enough, here we come with this film. They follow that same formula, but you do really like Poe, right? Like he's charismatic.
Yeah.
You like Poe. He's funny. So when they introduce him, I'm like, he's gonna die. I'm like, I'm gonna cry when he dies in this movie because like I just knew. I was like, I knew he was gonna die. Sure enough, he dies, and I was like, not that I didn't care at that point, but it just you knew it was coming.
Yes.
And it was just so sudden, which I guess with the disease it can be, but it just was no explanation. He just, they go into his room and he's just on the ground, and he's like, he just is not breathing anymore. And again, understand that complications with the sickness that can happen, but it just, I don't know, it just didn't seem believable.
Yeah, it was very I don't want to say unrealistic because like both
it can
of us,
happen, right?
Yeah, both of us are saying we don't understand the disease to the extent. But they definitely played on like the token character. He was Hispanic. Mm-hmm. And at one point, like at a couple points, he would say things and like throw in his little accent, and like I don't like when movies strategically like try to do that.
100%.
For example,
so
backstory about me, I'm Arab, so I always look for Arab characters in movies because we never have positive representation ever. You literally can't think of a single positive representation, and Rami Malek wouldn't count because he never plays Arab characters.
Right.
Anyways, he's Egyptian, just won an Oscar, side note.
Right.
But
I didn't know he was Egyptian.
Yeah, he's Egyptian. It's my people.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. I'm Lebanese, so it's not even my people.
You can claim him, that's fine.
Whatever, he's Arab.
Yeah, we'll get
so the main doctor was Dr. Hamid.
Mm-hmm.
So Dr. Hamid, Hamid is an Arab last name, but it was played by an Indian actress, but in the movie you couldn't tell if she was Persian or if she was Arab. Mm-hmm. And then the part that I found a little problematic was she had a British accent. So if you're going to take some sort of like person and you're going to say, okay, we're going to give them like the Arab role or like tokenize them as the Arab, but then you're going to give them the British accent, it's very, very Orientalist and very like Western focused, where it's like, let's cater to the Western audience of the all-white cast except for the token Hispanic and then the black nurse.
Right.
So the nurse was also black too, so it was just kind of like one of those things where I think they strategically put people in like places.
Yeah.
Which I'm all for representation.
Right.
That's not what I'm saying. I just think that there were parts of it that were just very unorganic and very intentional.
Yeah, no, I agree. I actually was having this, funny, talking about Cole Sprouse in Riverdale. I was having the same conversation when I was out in LA last week with one of my friends. He was talking about Riverdale and how it was a good show and how you should watch it. So I'm like, all those like teen drama shows that come on, the CW, Freeform. I was like, it's always the same thing. I said, they always have the same formula. They have, there's who's the black kid in it that like is really good at sports.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, there's a gay kid in it, right? Like, there's a homosexual kid,
Yes.
like either boy or girl. What you just know that they're gonna throw it in there, and then there's who's the Asian kid that's in it who is trying to live up to like expectations, like academically. Like they throw it in there, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so blatant stereotyping, but like. It happens, and it's not like it's not just like, oh, this one show, like that's, and he's sure enough, and I have never seen Riverdale, and he's like, yeah, this. I was like, who's like the Hispanic character who's like who has like a shady family or from the wrong side of the tracks, and like sure enough, like so you just know that these things it's become almost laughable how they throw it in there, as if it's nothing. But yeah, you do notice that, and like you said, it feels inorganic because it's like that's not every single high school, like every
like the black nurse would constantly like yell at them, and she would tell them like, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that, like, so it was like the whole angry black woman approach.
Like nagging, exactly, for sure.
But at the same time, her character was so powerful that I loved that aspect,
right?
So I think she was very multifaceted,
right,
which I enjoyed, and I also enjoyed how much Stella loved her,
right, because
Stella looked for her for everything. And also I found something a little problematic, so Stella's parents were only like a little bit in it.
Yeah, that was
and I mean Will's mom too a little. I just feel like if my kid was a cystic fibrosis patient, but this is also like a nuance that's probably not even that relevant, but I feel like if my kid was in the hospital, I would be like sleeping there and all that, but I mean that probably wasn't the focal point of the movie. I know,
but naturally that's what my mind went to that at some points too. Like, hey, where are these? They don't introduce her mom till maybe halfway through later in the movie, and I'm like, wait, like if my daughter, son, whatever, is in the hospital on with a terminally ill disease, and again, we saw with Poe, you literally could die at any moment.
Yeah.
There's no way that I'm coming up to the hospital once a week, whatever, to have lunch and then go home. Like, I'm sleeping, I'm there. Whether it's taking off work or working from the hospital, I'm making every effort, especially at least one of the parents at all times, a family member, someone there just to support. And they lost, as you find out, her older sister passed away.
Yeah, and that was one of the other aspects of overcomplicating the story that I felt, because
it wasn't necessary. It didn't add to the story.
No, it didn't. If anything, I think it just made it, you were just more confused because she kept talking about this Abby character, and then at one point I was like, just tell me what happened to Abby. What happened to Abby?
Yeah.
And so they were like implications of something very traumatic, and you find out that Abby was cliff diving in California, and she fell, broke her neck, died instantaneously. They said she felt no pain, but Stella still felt guilty because she thought that if she was there, she could have somehow prevented it.
Right.
But it was just horrible too, because it's like Stella has cystic fibrosis. She's in the hospital dying.
Right.
And her sister, the one person she loves, is also dead. And then her parents, she also says their marriage died once Abby died, and then they thought that Stella was gonna die next. Which that whole she goes on this little monologue with that part was very sad, and that part was very moving. And the actress Haley Lu,
Haley Lu Richardson.
Yes, she did an amazing job. I remember with that scene, I was thinking,
she did.
Wow. But Abby was, I don't want to say irrelevant, but she was a little irrelevant.
I will say I felt the same. I felt that, hey, that was kind of unnecessary. I still feel like they didn't have to do it to get to the point that they were getting to, which was that her reason for being so organized with her treatments and having this such a strong will to live was deeply rooted in not just her being, just wanting to live, a natural human instinct, but more so because she felt like she had to live for her parents because they wouldn't be able to take, all these things around her have died, and that her parents' family couldn't take losing her as well. Like, she had to live for all these things, I guess, her life, so that her life wasn't in vain, right?
Yes.
So
yes, for sure.
So I understood that. I got that that point that they were driving home. Again, I don't know if it was necessary for her sister to die, and I feel like you have one tragic death, that's fine. Like, and not that has to happen in every movie, but a lot of movies there has to be like some huge problem or death or something like that. And typically it's like one guy. So I knew Poe. I was like, all right, Poe's up out of here. Like, as soon as I saw him, I was like, yeah, they're gonna kill Poe, right? And with, I thought when they killed Abby, or we found out Abby was dead, I was like, okay, maybe they won't kill Poe, right?
Yeah.
And they kill him too, and I'm like, all right, come on, like she can't have all this death surrounding her.
Yeah,
Like that's
no.
not necessary. That's just too much hurt for one girl to go through.
Have you ever seen Monsters Ball with Halle Berry?
I have not. I know it's a classic movie,
Okay,
but I have not seen it.
So Monsters Ball, everything horrible happens that you could possibly think,
Yeah.
and you're just at the end of the movie. It's very, very draining. It's an amazing movie.
Yeah.
But it's just the most depressing movie. So I
Really?
don't recommend watching it. Halle Berry is phenomenal.
Yeah.
She rightfully deserved that Oscar.
Yeah.
But it kind of reminded me in that, but like in the cheesier, like really bad version of Monsters Ball.
Really?
Where like everything bad happens. Yeah, Monsters Ball, they did it in a very cohesive, eloquent way, where this was just kind of sporadic and you're just like, oh, tragedy.
Yeah.
I almost felt at one point that they just wanted you to sit there and cry,
Yeah.
and I didn't cry
Yeah.
because
No, I didn't cry.
I also didn't cry at The Fault in Our Stars either, so like
I didn't cry in that either. I wasn't. That one was like okay to me. But they did have, the one part that did have me like, dang, that kind of hit me was when Poe died. But then she said, like I never even got to hug him.
Yeah.
Like that kind of hurt me. I was
Yeah.
I know, like that was my best friend, and I literally never hugged him because of their disease.
Yeah.
They can't be within 6 feet of each other. So that hurt me.
That's crazy too, because if you think about that entire concept where it's like you're around these people 24/7 and this is your community, this is your family, and it's like
Right.
for me, I can't imagine going home and not being able to hug one of my family members, or going into my
Right.
community and not being able to hug one of my friends, because those are the people I'm constantly surrounded with.
Right.
So you're right, that part was very moving and very just, I can't imagine not hugging my best friend. Like,
Yeah.
I would just be.
Yeah, like coming within 6 feet of him even. But this movie had obviously a lot of tragedy as we've gone
Yeah.
on and said, but had a few like lighthearted parts, and the romance. Like I think it was a good teen romance. Like I really believe them as a couple, and I like again a sucker for like romance films. So I was like, oh, that's cute. Like they were like a cute couple together. When one of his initial pickup lines was asking if he could draw her, so kind of similar to an ode to Titanic.
Yeah, but that part was cheesy.
So corny. It was so corny. But then I was like, would that work? Like if a guy that you're like, okay, he's cute. If he asked like, hey, can I draw you? Like if he said he was like an artist, how would you feel?
Okay, so I would just be like, what?
Yeah.
For a while I would just be like, I would just be floored and probably not know what to think.
It's an odd request. Like it's either wow, that's really sweet, or that's super creepy. It's one of the two.
I don't know if I necessarily think it's creepy.
Yeah.
I would just be very confused. In that situation, I think it sort of made sense because he was an artist, but at the same time, it was just a very random request. Or it was like, I just want to draw you.
Yeah, and he kept bringing it up. That's when it became creepy to me. Like, all right, if she says no, like you can't keep being like, can I draw you? Can I draw you? Like, come on.
And the aesthetic in which he drew her wasn't even that cool. Like they had just finished working out, and he's like, please let me draw you, and she's like, okay, I'm just gonna sweat harder, and so she was like on her
He's
little.
like, I'm gonna draw the sweat, and I was like, okay, this is getting. Weird.
Like she was on her little workout machine, and then they like stopped working out, and she like sat in a windowsill, and I'm like, okay, that's a really cool place to draw. Did we ever see the picture? I don't even remember.
Yeah, they showed the picture at the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they showed the picture at the end. But she, but yeah, that's an odd pickup line. Here's the thing too. So let's say a guy's like, hey, can I draw you? Like I'm an artist, and then you're like, sure, okay. He draws you, and let's say he's like really bad. Like, let's say it's like stick figures. Like that kind of changes things too. Like it's like, all right, this just became like cute into like.
I think if at the
if
moment.
you act like it was good.
No, I would appreciate it, because I feel like if someone goes out of their way to like help you with something or do something for you, you should always be appreciative.
Yeah. Would you laugh about him behind his back?
No, I wouldn't do that. I actually think it would be really cute. I think when guys go out of their way to do cute things like that, it's nice.
Yeah.
But I would have to get over the initial hurdle of being like, this is an interesting request. Mostly because no guy has ever been like, can I draw you? Like,
Yeah.
I've never, ever in life.
I'm gonna use that line. I'm gonna tell you how it goes, but I'm gonna use that line. Someone be like, hey, can I draw you? And then like just draw like this terrible picture, and to see if like they still like try to play it off, and be like, hey, I was completely joking. I did not think you were gonna say yes. And then maybe they'll like appreciate my humor and be like, okay, something's wrong with you. That's hilarious. But or maybe they're gonna be like, you're a weirdo. And
I don't know. You should try it.
50-50. You gotta feel it out.
I would try it on guys, but I'm really bad at drawing, and I think they would just be like. I think they would probably be okay with it.
I'd laugh.
You would laugh?
Not to your face. I mean, I don't know. I might laugh to your face.
Guys are really mean. They would
guys are not sensitive.
No, they would.
If you show me, you're just like, for sure would.
They'd be like, what do you mean you want to draw? Like, what do you mean?
It's funny. I actually was talking to someone about who he was like, I don't know if they were talking or whatever you want to call it, and she was like a designer or something, or maybe she was an artist. And we were like laughing at her like Instagram page, like, "Yo, this is terrible."
Oh no!
That's so bad. I know.
Oh no! That's not
nice. I know. I'm a nice person, I promise.
I don't know, man.
I know, right?
It doesn't sound like it.
Also, I was looking at like the pills that they had to take in this movie, like all the pills.
Mm-hmm.
It's a crazy amount of pills as you can imagine. And I was like, I can't take pills.
Really?
Fun fact about me, yeah, I can't. So, like, luckily I've never been really sick. Like, I've never had to go to the hospital for, like, myself.
Okay.
I've never broken a bone. I've never had an infection. I've never been sick at all. Like, not, like, outside of, like, the common cold.
Yeah.
And, like, allergies. Thank God. But whenever I do, like, take, like, allergy medicine, I always take, like, chewables. Like, children's chewables.
Wow.
Till this day, I'll go buy, like, children's chewables.
How old are you?
Too old to be taking children's chewables. 25.
Wow.
Yeah.
Part of life. Wow. Okay, so.
Wait, no.
So let me tell you a trick. Actually, you practice with M&Ms. So when I was like 13, no, I was younger than that. Maybe I was like 11, and I had to take pills. I practiced with M&Ms. My pediatrician gave me the great advice. Yeah. So if you practice with M&Ms.
Hopefully, I never have to take any medicine.
Yeah, I mean, so hopefully you don't. Yeah.
But if so, I'll remember this. But yeah, no, I think the movie had like some lighthearted parts, and I think, like I said, the romance was
Wait,
cute.
so actually, I'm gonna stop you real quick
what's up?
Because the one of the lighthearted parts, but it was also like kind of sad. Speaking of pills, is she put all of her pills inside a chocolate pudding.
Oh yeah.
And she would like mix it together, and she's like, I've been doing this since I was young, and it was just a lighthearted but really sad part.
Yeah.
Because the whole notion that she's been doing it since she was young was just sad, but at the same time it was cute because she was teaching Will how to do it. She was like, look, it's fine. Like, she always had a very positive outlook.
She did.
Which was really beautiful. She was a positive ray of sunshine.
It was really good to see, and it makes you just really step back and realize, like, wow, things could be so much worse. Like, there's definitely days, like, as we all have, that are bad days. Or times, like maybe periods in your life where you're like, man, this is like really tough and things suck right now, right? Mm-hmm. And you really sit back and you watch movies like this, like, wow, like if this girl, and I mean obviously these are fictional characters, but it's real, you know, there are kids that are terminally ill in the hospital and they still find a way to smile and have a good time at times. So the fact they can do that, and then like,
it puts
I'm
life
upset.
into proper like perspective. Yeah, you're
For
right.
sure, it definitely puts things in perspective, and it's like, I'm upset because I got to Chipotle after 10 o'clock and they were already closed. Like, you know, should I be upset about that type of, you know, silly stuff? But yeah, no, so yeah, I mean, you definitely think about that with these types of movies. Cole, you know, what do we think about Cole's game? Again, we talked about the I want to draw you line. But other than that, you know, I feel like his game was pretty on point. You know,
I would disagree times 1,000.
You know, he got her to come to a hospital atrium date. If you can get a girl to meet you in the hospital atrium for a date, I mean, you're doing something right.
I mean, in no part of the movie did I find him charming at all. And I was growing up, I loved The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, so we can't even say that I've had some weird traumatic thing when I was younger. Maybe because, okay, so for me, I can tell, like, I guess I'm going to put myself in her shoes. So I can tell if I like a guy, like a guy in, like, 3 seconds of meeting. Yeah. Or if I would have the potential. Not if I like him, like, obviously.
Right. I know, I get what you're saying.
He messed up in the first 3 seconds when he was just really annoying and really, like, borderline condescending. And so I was like, who is this guy? I don't like his energy. I don't like his vibe. I was being very Stella about it, I guess, or just trying to put myself in her shoes.
Right.
So I don't think his game was on point. But
it was clunky.
I mean, he was effective, yeah. But then again, if you look at the pool that she had to choose from at the hospital,
I was thinking about that too. That actually goes to my next point of like, how bad would it hurt if someone cheated on you in that small pool of people in the hospital? Like you like find out like, hey, sorry, Stella, I was like hanging out at the pool with this other girl. Like that would.
I mean, it's kind of like high school though too, or
that is true.
Or even if I mean, were you in a fraternity at Michigan State?
No.
Oh, okay, cool, good.
Yeah.
That's why we can be friends. I'm just joking. No, so I feel like if you're in really small circles like that, where all your friends are connected, it's kind of the same thing.
That is true. Yeah, that can definitely happen.
But yeah, so I think it would probably be exceedingly awkward.
Yeah, 100%. And then also like, you know, the nurse, what is her name in the movie? Whatever the nurse's name is. She is trying to, throughout the movie, Barb.
Her name was Barb.
Barb. She's trying to keep them apart because she's trying to do her job and make sure that they're not sick, and she shares that she cared after 2 other patients who ended up actually dying and getting each other sick because they both had CF.
Yeah, but how likely was so? I remember that part, but how likely?
I don't know. You know, I guess I had to do like research on the back end to know like actually like what's the percentage of that happening if they get within 6.
No,
what are you saying?
That part, yeah.
Oh, the likelihood of her
just like
caring to 2 other people who fell in love in the hospital. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's just like, hey, they're teenagers and like hormones, and I don't know. But
I mean, I've had the privilege of not knowing hospital culture as well.
Yeah. So I can't speak on it, but I mean, for the sake of the story, like she had been through that before, so she's kind of playing the what am I trying to say? The antagonist here a bit. Obviously, she cares for them, loves them, but as far as like their relationship, they have to kind of sneak and tiptoe around her to make sure that she doesn't see them because again, she's trying to keep them apart for their own safety. And then you know, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, wow, like in that situation. And obviously they're teenagers, so their brains are still developing. So they they don't really know how to make sound decisions like that. As you can as an adult. But would you rather die? If you feel like, wow, I found the person that like I'm in love with, like die, risk death to be happy, or live longer? And again, they're speaking through like every day is basically borrowed time. Okay. And then yeah, what were you about to say?
I have a question. Do you believe in soulmates?
I do not.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there's. So let me clarify that. I don't believe that there's just like one person for every person. Like there's just this one person, and if it doesn't work out with that one person, then you're doomed. Like I don't believe that. I actually have an odd theory that, now that you ask, I have an odd theory that like there are certain people, like okay, there's certain soulmates for like times, and then if you miss out on that opportunity, then like you'll have like another opportunity with like someone else.
That's interesting. Like
another soulmate, and then it's like, all right, if you mess that one up, like, then here's another opportunity for like this one person. I don't know. It's hard to describe. I don't know.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I would just argue that Stella and Will were not soulmates.
Yeah.
Just I do believe in soulmates. Okay. I think that there is one person that is better suited for your life purpose versus other people. But as far as Stella and Will go, I don't think they were soulmates just because their love was doomed. And like their love would have ended in their destruction. So I don't think that when we talk about soulmates, I think the conventional definition is someone that you're just so in love with and you think that life is sunshine and rainbows with this person. But I don't think that's what a soulmate is. I think it's a person that best helps you achieve your life's purpose.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they were they were
supposed to be.
They didn't end up together. Let's just get that out there.
Yeah, so they don't end up together at the end because he decides. So if we go on and get to the ending, they end up not. There's like this whole dramatic scene at the end, which is actually what made me knock it down a little bit on my ratings. At the end, so after Poe dies, they leave the hospital, or she leaves the hospital in a fit, and is like, I want to go see the lights. So she keeps referring to the lights throughout the movie, which is the city, whatever city they're in. They're on what appears to be like the outskirts of the city a bit, and she keeps looking out her window and seeing the skyline. So she keeps referring to the lights. She wants to see the lights. So, obviously she's a big rule follower. She has OCD, so she never leaves the hospital when she's there on these stints where she's getting treatment. So she's so fed up when Poe dies that she says, I'm going to go see the lights. So she starts to leave. Will follows her out. They walk, however many 2 miles out in the cold. It's snow on the ground, so it's wintertime. They're walking out there. They find a pond that's frozen over. Obviously, they start playing on the pond. You're like, okay, obviously someone's gonna fall through, which is that's annoying too. I'm like, all right, guys, are we gonna be this
overcomplication? Of
Come
the story,
on, it was so. That's what that really pissed me off. So when they did this, so they go out there. They're playing on the ice. Obviously, Stella falls through. He saves her. He was not trying. He wasn't all like gung ho to like jump in the water either. Which I don't blame him not wanting to get in the freezing cold water. But at the same time, like he definitely was not trying to. He just like reached his hand down. He was not trying to get in all the way.
I feel like the love of my life fell. I would just jump straight and I would wouldn't think.
Not a second thought wouldn't go through my head. So anyway, he saves her, gives her mouth to mouth, even though it may he may risk transferring bacteria. But that was better than her dying and drowning and from and also hypothermia. So anyway, saves her. They get rushed to the hospital. At the same time that she's there, they're out on the ice or whatever. Find out that there's a transplant for her. So and it's really difficult as they allude to that for her to get a transplant because you have to have someone that fits basically your body description. So same height, weight for the most part. And also they don't harp on this, and I don't think it was the point. But in order for her to get that person's lungs, that person had to die. So a girl who was a teenager was in a car crash. They're like, a girl was in a car crash, and she was 16, she was 5'2", whatever all these specs are, and a good pair of lungs that fit a match. So they're celebrating at the hospital that now she has a pair of lungs, but in that same moment, someone else just lost a daughter in a car crash. So it is, and that's real. Like that's real life stuff. And it just was like one of those moments where you're just like, oh, it kind of like a twinge.
A paradox. Yeah.
It kind of gave me a weird feeling. But anyway, rushed to the hospital. She gets a new pair of lungs, and the shelf life on that is 5 years. So again, this is just a re-up for 5 years. But there's still hope there. And then in doing so, after she gets out of surgery, he decides to put up a bunch of Christmas lights while she's getting surgery outside of her window. So it's like, hey, I brought the lights to you. Really cheesy. He has some really, really cheesy monologue at the end. And it's basically saying, hey, I'm leaving. It's safer for me to be away from you. We can't be together because obviously if we're together, we're going to get sick. Like I'm risking your life. Yes. Right. And he's found out at this point that his treatment isn't working. So he's going to die. They're both going to die at some point, but he just didn't want to risk her dying sooner, especially after just getting new lungs. So that's how it ends. Again, really cheesy at the end, but overall, I did like the movie. I did like the romance throughout the movie. So yeah, I like the first love story. I always like those. So
you are a hopeless romantic.
I can't put that label on myself.
Okay,
just,
fine.
yeah.
I mean, you don't believe in soulmates, so I guess maybe
not. Yeah, I'm not necessarily like absolutely no on soulmates, but I don't know. I have to think through that. One. So overall, what would you give this movie on a scale of 1 to 10?
4 out of 10. And the 4
Whoa!
And the 4 comes just simply
that's hot.
Education of cystic fibrosis, because I think it was a very worthwhile movie to see because it humanizes the disease in a light where you are not usually exposed to it, and you can see firsthand what it does to people. But yeah, sorry, I'm a 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10.
For all of the reasons that I expressed previously.
So because of how dark the movie is, I don't think I got to express throughout the review how much I really did enjoy it. I think it's my third favorite movie I've seen this year.
Oh wow.
7.8 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
What were your 1 and 2, if you don't mind me?
Spider-Man to the Spideyverse, which technically came out last year, but I saw it this year. And then what did I have as my 2? Green Book, which really both of those you can argue either one can take that spot, but Green Book was really good.
I didn't see Green Book. I started watching. I just got back from Dubai 2 weeks ago, and I started watching it on the plane, and I fell asleep.
Great movie. Yeah, great movie. You should definitely watch that.
I want to watch it. Spike Lee didn't like it though, so I don't know how I feel about that.
It got a lot of pushback.
Said it was a white savior movie.
Ish maybe, but I don't know.
I still want to see. I've heard very good reviews.
I liked it. I like Marshall Ali, and I like Green Book.
Yeah,
so,
he's great.
Whatever. I mean, Spike Lee has his opinion. That's fair, but I thought it was a good movie. So yeah, I thought this movie had great music too. I thought the soundtrack for it was really good.
Oh no, that was also one of the critiques.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
No, can I tell you? So Nina Simone.
No, I don't even want to hear it.
You don't want to hear it now?
No.
So Nina Simone is like my favorite all-time
so you
favorite
didn't like
singer.
that
Should they
rendition of the song?
Yeah!
I saved the rendition on my phone.
God! No, I was just staring at the screen like, what? And then I was like, oh my god. But okay, the song is beautiful, so you can't do it in a bad way. So if I had never heard Nina's version, I'd say, well, this is a beautiful song. So I will give you that.
Okay.
But whenever anyone takes anything Nina, I just get mad.
That's you know what? That's fair. There are definitely artists that I feel that way about, and I'm like, you do not touch that song.
Don't touch it. She's my all-time favorite too. So that's why I have such a strong opinion.
Fair. No, that's totally fair. I think I know the answer to this, but actually, we might have the same answer. How would you suggest people go view this movie? Either opening night,
yes,
$5 Tuesday, Netflix, or don't watch it all?
I would definitely Netflix it.
So I have Netflix too, even though I really like this movie.
Yeah.
Because of the type of movie it is, it just feels like a Saturday afternoon at home, if you want to cry movie. It doesn't feel like I have to get to go see that movie right now. Like, you're not missing anything if you don't see it right away. If you don't see it till next year, 2 years, it's not like an in the time movie.
I agree.
So
it's not timely, and also for me, going to the movies is like one of my favorite things, and it's always something that I want to feel very strongly about, either like super happy after or just like I want to have a really deep conversation, and the movie didn't do either one for me.
Too deep.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not the first person to say that. But but so I do definitely agree. If it was on Netflix, I would watch it, and I would definitely, if my friends wanted to watch it, I'd be like, yeah, let's watch it. You guys would learn a lot from it. Yeah. So I definitely recommend it.
Good.
So even though it got a 4 out of 10, I'm a harsh critic.
We'll watch it again. We'll watch it. You know what? Maybe we'll watch it again, but this time when we watch it, I'll narrate. Maybe I give you a version where I talk about why you should like certain parts more.
Oh, you would probably be very convincing. I'd be like, yeah, Todd, you're right.
I'll be like, think about it like this. So yeah, I can be convincing when I try.
You were very convincing, because even as you were talking right now, I was like, yeah, he's kind of right on my god.
A little better. We'll try again. When it's on Netflix, I'll text you like, hey, it's on Netflix. You know what I'm talking about. I have two kind of morbid questions for you.
Yes.
What would your 5-year plan look like right now if you knew you only had 5 more years left to live?
Okay, so I had 5 more years left to live. I would quit my job.
Okay.
I'd quit my job and focus entirely on my podcast. And in between that time, I would travel. I would volunteer a lot, and specifically, I would volunteer at Wayne County Jail. So one of the biggest passions I have with my job is I get to work on jail health initiatives.
Okay.
So the incarcerated population is very close to my heart, not because I know anybody incarcerated, but because I think that they're a very vulnerable population that exists due to systemic racism.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then what else would I do if I was gonna? I would every single day tell everyone I love how much I love them. And I think that's something I've tried doing more so now, because I think that we take time for granted.
For sure.
But I think I'm pretty content with my 5-year plan if I was gonna die.
I mean, that's a solid 5-year plan, and I don't have one teed up either. I mean, I'm asking the question. I'm expecting you to be like on your heels, like, oh, I don't know, and I actually don't know. 5 years. If I had 5 years, wow. I would. Man, that is tough. I mean, I would love to be married before I died, but also why would I do that to someone? Someone else. That would be kind of selfish. I think on my end to be like, hey, love you, and then we get married. I'm like, hey, by the way, I'm dying. I mean, I wouldn't wait till we got married to let them know that. But
okay, let's go back to my soulmate definition. So if you were able to find your soulmate, even after your death, she would be able to continue in her life's purpose because she received that love from you.
Oh.
So don't feel bad about it.
I like those rules. So I don't know. I mean, dying alone would suck. That would really, really suck. But yeah, maybe that. Probably too, a lot of volunteer work. It really wouldn't make a lot of sense for me to work for money at that point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I might as well be doing something I love and like helping someone else. Probably more. I'm very passionate about helping kids. I feel like they're very vulnerable.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that would probably be what I would do. Probably
like
volunteer.
it.
That would probably be if I had to do 5 years. Just do that. Eat a lot of Chipotle. Go watch movies.
Are you a big Chipotle
I love
fan?
Chipotle.
Why?
Yeah, it's one of the greatest restaurants of all time.
You know, I got food poisoning from Chipotle once.
That's your fault. It's your fault. But I'm blaming you. That's how much I love them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, something's wrong with you.
You know, it's funny because I used to love Chipotle. I used to be like, Chipotle is the best when you just grab it, go, whatever. And then I had a bad experience with it, unfortunately.
Do another try.
Todd, it was so bad.
No, actually, I've never had food poisoning, but I've heard it's like the worst feeling ever. So I don't blame you for not going back. If they gave me food poisoning, I probably wouldn't go back for a week. So,
I love it. I love your dedication.
And then the other question I had was, who is one dead person who you would love to meet who's not a family member?
Ooh, Malcolm X.
Malcolm X. Mine is Mr. Rogers. I love Mr. Rogers.
Wow, you see how opposite our people are?
Yeah. Completely different. Yeah, I
Wow.
love Mr. Rogers. Would have loved to meet him. And everything.
What would
he
you
stands
ask
for.
Mr. Rogers?
That's a good question. How did he? I don't know. That's very good. Maybe how he sustained like that level of like consistency and like kindness over so many years. Because I'm definitely again way more cynical. So there are times when you get like frustrated, especially like working with kids. You have to be very patient.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're innocent, but still like kids can get on your nerves. Sometimes. So like how he just was so patient with them.
I love that.
So,
I really love that.
That was probably the toughest. Like that's probably the toughest thing when you work with children is like just the patience sometimes. Yeah. So yeah, and just understanding like they don't know better. Let's say they get to an age where you do, but like some of them don't know better, and a lot of the times their behavior is a reflection of like what goes on at home, which is not in their control. So again, just keeping that in mind and like top of mind when working with them.
For sure.
That would probably be my question. What upcoming movies are you excited about?
Okay, so I'm very excited, but it's bad to say excuse me, it's bad to say I'm excited because I don't know the title of the movie. It's the Jordan Peele one with Lupita. Us, yes.
I love Lupita.
Very, very excited to see that movie.
Yeah.
I don't think I even saw the trailer, but I just like read like a little like blurb about it.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. Do you know when it comes out?
Yeah, it comes out this Friday. I'm actually reviewing it in like 2 weeks.
Are you?
Yeah.
How exciting!
Yeah,
I'm very excited to hear what you think about it.
Yeah,
I'll have to go see it before you release the episode then.
So I did not like and I don't want to go down the whole thing with this. I actually was talking about Rima about this. When you all came because you left early, right? Did you leave early?
Yeah.
I didn't like Get Out. I did not like Get Out, and I don't like horror films. But I want to go see this because of how much hype I know it's going to get and how much hype Get Out got. So I want to see what he does with this. I do like Jordan Peele too. So so we'll see. I won't pass judgment on it before even seeing it. So
really briefly, can you tell me why you didn't like Get Out?
Yeah. So I felt like Get Out, the message that it had and so I understand and like the message it had.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it was getting too much credit for how like well written it was and all the metaphors in it because to me it was very obvious. I don't know, and I was saying this to Rima too. Part of that probably is because I knew everything about the movie before going to see it because of Twitter. Because of social media. So it's more so people mess it up for me, and then I go see it. I'm like, wow, this isn't that deep. Like this is like obvious stuff. But then I had to realize that one, it might, maybe it's just obvious to me because maybe I'm more perceptive, or maybe it's speaking on things that I'm aware of, and maybe it's not. Maybe I was the intended audience. Maybe it was to people who didn't realize some of like the cultural references in it.
Yes.
But yeah, I do feel like whenever a movie like has a metaphor or a theme and just kind of like slaps you in the face with it, I'm like, okay, you could have weaved that in more creatively, more clever. Like I would have liked to see that.
Yeah. No, that's a really interesting point too.
So, we'll see.
I wonder, I don't know, you might know this, who his intended audience was.
I don't know, and I don't know, we'll see. And then with us, I think now that I'll have like 2 Jordan Peele directed movies, written movies to compare to, like understanding his style now, I'll look at it through that lens, and then again, I'll go see it. Like, I'll probably go see it this weekend or, you know, sometime soon, so that, like, I saw Get Out, like, months after it came out.
Wow, okay.
So now I'm gonna go see it, and I'll have, like, just, like, Todd's perspective on it, and not everyone else's, and then I go see it through their lens. So, like, I don't like reading, like, reviews and stuff like that for movies, because then you're watching it, like, you're now forced to look at it through someone else's lens.
For sure, no,
So,
you're absolutely right.
so I'll just go see it for what it is, and then, you know, and then review it after that. So, hopefully it's good. Like I said, I really like Lupita. I love Lupita.
Me too.
She's so beautiful as an actress and as a person. So
she's stunning.
the movie I'm most excited about is which doesn't come out until October, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. The first Maleficent was really good. I'm really critical of. I really like Disney, but I'm critical of their live action films, which I've said I think every single podcast episode that I've had for whatever reason it comes up. But I do like the fact. The reason I don't. Or I'm skeptical of and really critical of the live action films because the remake ones, because it's like, hey, we have a great thing going right here with the cartoon. Don't go and mess it up with a live action. This though is an original take and spin on a classic, so there is no other Maleficent film. It's just taking the original story of Sleeping Beauty and then just telling it from a perspective of the villain. So I did like the first one. Angelina Jolie is great. And everything, but she was amazing in this and really made the character, and I can't wait to see her come back. They don't have a trailer yet, but it has been announced.
That's
so
exciting.
Can't wait to see this
That's
one
very
come out
exciting.
too. So yeah, that's what I'm excited for. Thank you for coming up.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
This was so much fun.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you came up. I'm not a Dearborn girl, so I likely can't come on your podcast, but I will be a huge supporter when it does come out.
I love it. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. All right, thanks for listening, everyone. Peace.